Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums. And, yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do a review on the latest Microphones album, Microphones in 2020. So, the Microphones is a band, a folk rock noise band from the USA, and this is their first album in 17 years. The band is fronted by none other than Phil Elverum, who has made some really good music in the past. In fact, in the year 2001, the Microphones had released The Glow Part 2, which is just, one of my favorite albums of all times. I absolutely adore this album. It is a long and indulgent record, but also an extremely vulnerable, fragile, yet beautiful, heartfelt, and powerful album just about how weak humans can be and how meaningless our lives can be. In tracks like Map, The Moon, The Gleam, and I Felt My Size are some of the most underrated songs on that album. Anyways, The Glow Part 2. Afterwards, we have 2003 with Mount Erie, which is also really great, but not as good as The Glow Part 2 in my opinion. And then afterwards, the band is sort of disbanded, with Phil Elverum making music under the name of Mount Erie instead, which is the name of the album. And as Mount Erie in the year 2017, after Phil Elverum's former wife had unfortunately passed away, he had made A Crow Looked at Me, which is very much an album about death, how real is death, and also how much it sort of affected him. And even though I wouldn't say it's the most exciting album ever, it's actually very much the opposite. Also, it's not the kind of album that I would go back from time to time, but still, I think this album is incredibly powerful, emotional, and I named it my favorite album of 2017, also one of my favorite folk albums of the decade. And then we have Now Only, which is similar to A Crow Looked at Me, maybe a little bit more versatile, and maybe it's not as powerful, but still pretty good nonetheless. And then in 2020, we have the Microphones returning with the album Microphones in 2020. And this is a pretty special album. I planned to review this album 2 days ago, but I didn't because I didn't know how to review it, because the entire album is just one song. Now, this is not the first album ever to have only one song and have that song be a super long song. But still, this album really does feel like only one song in that it is a really gigantic song, without much in terms of change or dynamic or progression. It's not like a multifaceted experimental epic or anything. It's very much one song, just one guitar chord or two guitar chords, and just vocals over it, sometimes silence, and that's pretty much just it. And yeah, instrumentally speaking, it is great. If this song is only 4 minutes long, it's easily gonna be one of my favorite songs of the year so far, because the guitar chords, they are absolutely beautiful. They are heartfelt, they're sincere, they feel real, they feel humane, and they're also really bright and sunny, yet with a shade of sadness, which is just the classic Microphones sad guitar chord, which is really nice. And some of the lyrics, they are actually really beautiful. The opening lines, I keep on not dying, the sun keeps on rising. In fact, throughout the entire track, Phil Elverum basically updates us on how he's doing lately. You know, it's been a long time since he had really spoken his mind, or this album is more like his self-reflection on his past, how the Microphones came to be, and how his life had changed after that. And yes, it's very rambly. The lyrics, they're not necessarily poetic or supposed to be symbolic or anything. I mean, he just sings whatever he has to sing. It kind of reminds me of Sun Kill Moon, aka Mark Kozlek's work a little bit. Also, the lyrics, the way they're so brutally real, reminds me a lot of Car Seat Headrest, Will Toledo's lyrics. But still, the microphones, they still sound very humane and sincere. That being said, it's a very long song, and I don't see much versatility in between these 44 minutes. In the 12-minute mark, we start to get some drums and a bass, which is a nice addition, and it keeps on having that instrumental structure for a while. At the 22-minute mark, we have some noise, which is, of course, given that it is the microphones, we're going to expect some noise, some white noise, and they're great. The way they are sort of mixed into the very sad but also soft and shimmery guitars. It's just a really nice sound combination. At around the 27-minute mark, we get these very saturated, dense layers of harmonica, which is absolutely beautiful. And at around the 30-minute mark, the drums, they return. But still, that being said, it just ends off kind of abruptly. And again, throughout the entire 44 minutes of the album, it doesn't change all that much. It sort of stays the same for a very, very, very long time. In fact, the first 7 minutes of the record is also just the 2 guitar chords being strummed over and over and over again. And while I like a good build-up to a track like, I don't know, any Swan songs or maybe Godspeed You Black Emperor songs, but this is another story. It just gets stale. Again, I like the lyrics, I like the performances, I like the guitar chords, but the fact that it's just one long track and it doesn't have much in terms of progression and dynamic really bogs this album down. So yeah, a lot of people are praising this album, but it's just not really for me. It's just not really for me. It's not the kind of album that I would constantly go back to. It's not the kind of album that I'm always excited to listen to. It's not the kind of album that I want to lay back and relax and put on. It's just a really long song with some really beautiful guitar chords, and that's pretty much just it. I'm giving the microphones in 2020 a strong 6 out of 10. So, have you listened to the Microphones' latest song from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. I will be reviewing Glass Animals Dreamland, as well as some other albums very soon. Creeper, the latest Creeper album. Maybe I'll review it. Maybe. But also more Radiohead album reviews to come. Also Iron Maiden, maybe.